Hey all, coming at you here from spring break. No rest for the wicked. So I wanted to say a few things about Congress, trying to squeeze that module in before exam number two. Some contemporary observations in terms of where we're at right now. This is St. Patrick's Day. I guess that's what, 17 March. Yeah, Carleton, by the way, is an old Irish name, I believe derived from O'Carrollton from back in the day, for whatever that's worth. I also have a lot of British blood in me and some Hungarian, Eastern European blood. I'm the usual mutt mix here. Appropriate given that my wife and I's 6 rescue dogs are also all mixed breed. Okay, let's see. Congress. What to say about Congress? Right now, the House is controlled by the Republican Party. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Republican. They control it by just a few seats, although, recently 2 Democrats died in office, just like in the last 2 weeks. And you have a few Republicans who've left the House to join the Trump administration. I believe those special elections to fill those Republican seats are coming up very soon. Those are all safe red Republican districts. And I think the governor in each of the other states where the Democrats died, I know one of them was Arizona, the other one is Houston, so Texas. Those will be filled, I think, pretty quickly, but not as quickly as the Republican seats will be filled. And I think both of those Democratic open seats are also safe blue districts. So no real competition in any of those 5 special elections to fill empty seats. But for a brief while, it'll give Republicans a couple extra seats in the House. That'll give Mike Johnson a little breathing room. And of course, Republicans control the Senate. By a good margin. They have 53 Republicans, 47 Democrats. What does that mean? It means a lot. All right, so first thing it means, is that always, when the president is of the same party as both houses of Congress try to sort of hold together to support their president. That's very common. So some of what we're seeing right now is normal, right? The Republicans in both houses are coming together to support Donald Trump. Donald Trump is working individual members of Congress, especially in the House, hard to get them on board his agenda. So credit to Trump for putting the lean on some Republicans in the House who are suggesting that they might deviate from some of his agenda. But what we're also seeing, because that's all normal, all that I just talked about, completely normal. And what we tend to see, is that when you have the Congress and the president sharing the same party, you don't get a lot of checks and balances. You just don't. That's all pretty normal. When you get lots of checks and balances, when the president is of one party, and either the House or the Senate or both are of the other party, then you get lots of checks and balances. See, the founders didn't really anticipate the role of political parties. They thought Congress would always give the president a hard time. Well, Congress tends to give the president a hard time when one house or the other or both don't share the president's party. When they do, you get a whole lot less pushback. They didn't expect that. Again, a lot of that's normal. But what's abnormal is that, the Trump administration has been seizing what amount to Article I powers, claiming unilateral control over the budget and over the entire executive branch, as if Congress didn't have a role to play of any significance. All right, a classic sort of violation of separation of powers. Some will call that a constitutional crisis. What is Congress doing in response? Nothing. Nothing. They're cheering him on. That's extraordinary, because what Trump is doing is extraordinary. Congress's sort of supine position on this, they're kind of laying down and letting it all happen. They're not protecting their institutional prerogative. Right? You would say, look, back in the day when Richard Nixon did some of this on a very small scale, impoundment, for example, refusing to spend appropriated dollars from Congress. What did Congress do on a bipartisan basis back then? They came together and said, this is unacceptable. I don't care if I'm a Republican or a Democrat, and it's a Republican president. It's all the same, right? We need to protect Congress's authority here in our system of checks and balances and relatively co-equal powers between the three branches of the federal government. So Democrats and Republicans came together back then to pass the, what's it called, the Budget Control and Impoundment Act, that said if Congress appropriates money for certain items, the president must spend that money in good faith. The president can't make unilateral decisions about spending. So this is extraordinary, right? And it's because of the times in which we live, right? Very polarized. Our Republicans are saying, yeah, he's stealing our powers, and we're good with that because he's so popular and he dominates our party. And if we cross him in any way, he'll come after us. He'll unleash the MAGA hordes upon us. We'll get death threats. Elon Musk will finance a challenger in my next election within the Republican Party. Right, because a lot of these Republicans in Congress, they're in very safe districts, right? But they're not safe from a challenge from within their own party in the primary. So that's some of the leverage right there. Musk's money means that Republicans who are otherwise safe in their next election cycle might not be safe if they cross Trump in any way, because Musk will finance a challenger within the party to get nominated to represent the Republican Party in that general election. Right? And whichever Republican gets through to the general race is going to win typically in these safe red districts. But, right, the challenge, the fear for Republicans in the House especially is, if I cross the president, I may not get the nomination of my own party the next time around, because Trump will endorse my opponent, who's more MAGA than I am, and Musk will finance them, and then I'm out of a job. So some of that's just that. You know, power is what power is. People tend to genuflect in the direction of power if they wish to remain in power. You know, if you're waiting for principled stands here in these cases, you're going to be waiting a very long time indeed, waiting for Godot, as the saying goes. So that's what we're seeing, I think, today that is really exceptional. The president just sort of running roughshod over Congress's Article I powers, and Congress doing nothing about it. A little shocking. A little shocking. Yeah, so that's kind of what I see right now. And again, it is because Trump so completely dominates today's Republican Party to a fairly shocking degree, right? I can think of no modern president who had such a dominant position within their party, neither Republican nor Democratic. That's not normal. And political scientists, as a group, we don't like to see that, right? We like to see bottom-up democracy, not top-down democracy. And we like to see a healthy system of checks and balances. Even if the president and the Congress share the same party, right, you still like to see some pushback by Congress if the president is going to be thieving their Article I powers. Just on principle alone, you would like to see Congress push back. But power, and these days, right, seems to trump principles. So there you have it. All right, thanks all.